Okay, here we go. Looks like it worked. The first time my screen changed sizes and I couldn't tell if it was on or not. So here's our first lesson. This is basically aimed at the novice, but man, any player could benefit from this particular uh, set of exercises. So we're going to deal with the octave rollers. So yesterday we worked on getting our EWI set up so that we know for sure that our breath control is set up, at least leaving the EWI properly. And today we're going to talk about our octave rollers. In my opinion, that's kind of like next on the list because if you can only play in one octave, you're really going to be limited in how much music you can play. But if the octave key mechanism becomes very comfortable, then you can play lots of stuff. So anytime we're training our body, we want to keep in mind that first there's a vocabulary stage where we have to figure out how to do it. So that's placing our thumb on here properly. We never want to lose contact with the ground plate on the left hand side, and then we just comfortably lay our thumb across the octave rollers. And I tilt mine, and it just naturally does it, so it's kind of on an angle, and that makes it easier. If your thumb is completely flat, you'll actually cover too many octave rollers, and you'll have some problems. So really, if you just hold your EWI, your thumb will just naturally tilt to the correct position, and is actually really perfect. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that we're in a position that's going to help us manage the octave rollers well. The second thing to keep in mind is, like, after we come up with a series of exercises, we want to do them until we get enough repetitions for the exercise to become intuitive, which means we can do it without really thinking about it, or instinctive, which would even be better. And that just comes with thousands and thousands of repetitions. So the octave rollers, we want to try to rack up as many repetitions of that movement as we can, and that's what these exercises are designed to do. So if you're coming to the EWI from flute or clarinet or saxophone, well, I guess not so much flute, but saxophone and clarinet, you're dealing with the register key or the octave key. And if you look back, you probably don't even think about using the octave key. It just naturally happens, and we need that to happen on the EWI. So that's what we're going to do. So here, let's see what we're going to do today. Well, first of all, we're going to talk about the rollers. We just did that, and then we're going to do exercise number 1, which is only it's just only working out the octave key. So we're going to stay on one note and do a bunch of exercises with just our thumb making the octave. And then exercise 2, which is actually going up a scale, playing octaves up and down, and we'll add the metronome to that. So that's what we're going to do. The first thing to do is develop a goal. So we want to be able to play exercise number 1 with the metronome on 60, and ultimately we want to be able to perform it with sextuplets. So that could be a while, but once you get to there, I guarantee you won't be thinking about your octave roller anymore. And exercise 2, we want to get once again to 16th notes on the metronome at 60. And the plan is just to add these 2 exercises to our existing routine. I played through exercise number 1. If you get it to the goal, it actually takes 1 minute to do it. And then the other one, I didn't time it out, but I would just set a timer for like 3 minutes or something, and just work on your octave mechanism for a couple minutes. So in 4 minutes, you can deal with the octave mechanism in a great way and know that you're going to be propelling yourself forward. And what it'll do, it'll just make playing much more enjoyable, because the more technique you have, the more fun it is to play. So we want to balance between building technique and having fun and playing. So because at some point, the technique becomes fuel, and that's real important to do. So let's just get into exercise number 1. So we're just going to play the note C, and I'm just going to play this C. I'll just play this C. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and little finger on the center little low key here. So that's going to be a low C. And then we're just going to put our thumb like right in the middle of the textured keys, right? And then we want to go up an octave. So we're just going to roll gently up until we touch that next roller. So go ahead and do that a couple times. And then I'm going to put my metronome on. I just use my phone and I use a metronome. I think it's called Tempo, and it's by a company called Frozen Ape. It looks like, I guess you can't see it. It looks like this. And I have it on 60, and we're just going to leave that on for a while. So the first thing we're going to do is just play octave C's to the click, quarter notes. Ta, 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 ta. It wasn't in the middle of the textured rollers. I'm going to do it again. So I was tonguing all of them. So let's do it without tonguing, because that'll really make us focus on what our thumb's doing. So that's quarter notes. We want to be able to do that. Now we're going to do it in eighth notes, which will be T, 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 T. Right, so we're going to just keep moving on. We're going to triplets. So triplets is dividing a beat in three. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, triple T, triple T, triple T, triple T. However you think about it, but you need to get that triple T, dun, 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 in your brain. And then we're going to transfer that to octaves. So the first octave will be a low one. When you get to the next beat, you'll be on a high one. So it kind of alternates. So it's like do 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 do. My camera's kind of out of sync, so that didn't help that much. Here we go. We can listen to it. Triple T. There you go. The next level is doing 16th notes. So it's going to be 4, like 1 E and a 2 E and or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. However you count it, doesn't matter, but you want to break that beat into 5 or 4 pieces. Here we go. So if you're just getting started, this might be a future goal at this point, because that's the significant technique. And then if you've been playing for a while, we're going to do fives. So we just count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then each beat again will be alternating between a low note and a high note. So you really got to hear the fives before you get started. I was on the wrong roller again. I'll do it again. Guess I was on the right roller. Just sounded wrong to me. Okay, so last one, sextuplets. So it's a triplet on a downbeat, triplet on an upbeat. Da 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This one's kind of hard because it's getting fast. So I would think, if you're just getting started, you're a novice, this is not happening anytime soon. I mean, this isn't today or maybe tomorrow or next month. This is a long-term goal. But remember, at the beginning, I said, I practiced this whole thing before we started, and it took me 1 minute. So wherever you are is going to be cool. If you can play octaves, your first goal is put it on the metronome. So if I can play octaves at 60, well, then I can probably play octaves at 70. And I can keep going up the metronome until I get to 120, and then I can come back to 60, and I can play eighth notes. Just write it down. This is how fast I can do it. Then next week I can do it faster and faster, and at a certain point you can do triplets, and that's how you do it. You just build the skill gradually. and then the skill's coming. If you don't build the skill gradually, I don't really know when it shows up. Right, so let's move on to exercise number 2. So exercise number 2, we're going to do ascending, which means the interval is going up, and then the next interval is going up, and we're actually just going to go up a C scale. So here's a C scale here. I have this illustrated. So here's a C scale in quarter notes. So it goes C, and then up an octave to a C, D, up an octave to a D, E, up an octave, F, up an octave, G, up an octave, A, up an octave, B, up an octave, C, up an octave. And then we'll do the exact same thing down. So I'm going to put the metronome one right away. Right? So I'm going C, then up an octave, D, then up an octave, then E. It's just like this. Then I'm going to do the same thing in eighth notes. And finally in sixteenths. Once again, each one of these levels may take a while. You might have to do quarter notes and then gradually speed them up until it equals eighth notes, then do eighth notes and speed them up until that speed equals 16th notes. And then, you know, long term, you've got a plan and you're building your stuff, right? So now let's go to the second part of exercise 2. And that's going up the first one. So you go C, C, and then D, D, and E, up, F, and back down, and G, up, A, and back down, B, and up, C, and back down. And then when you go down on this one, make sure that you play C to C, which is ascending, then descending from the B. So here we go, quarter notes. Remember, you can always just pause the video and then you practice and then go to the next part. So here we go, C, C, ascending, descending. So I'm going to go ascending first for the way down. So C to C. I'm going to do it in eighth notes. And 16ths. All right, let's go to the next part. Same exact thing, except we're going to start descending. So we're going to start high C to low C, and then D, octave up, go to E, octave down, go to F, octave up, G. Here we go. We're going to do quarter notes. I think I played eighth notes. I'm going to do quarter notes, sorry. Now I'll do eighth notes. And sixteenths. One more exercise to do, and that's descending, descending. So every interval will start with a high note and then go to a low note. Here's quarter notes, C to C. Eighth notes. And 16th notes. My fingers are sticky a little bit. It's making a glitch. It's pretty weird. That's weird. It's something sticky, so I need to do some work on that. It's pretty weird. So the reason for doing all the shapes is because it makes your brain think about the notes and the direction, and you start to not think about your thumb, and that makes it rocket ship into the intuitive bank. Okay, so be patient, make a plan, make a chart, figure out where you are. It doesn't matter where you are, because like next week you can be a little bit better, and the next week you can be little bit better. So I've been doing these for a long time, so you know it looks like it's easy to me, but it was not easy at the beginning. I had a lot of problems with the octave mechanism. So just keep charging, and I'll keep posted when I'm going to show up and do another lesson. I don't think I can be back until Monday, though I might have a plan for later this afternoon. All right, so talk to you, and let's figure out how to get out of this thing. I'll see you soon. Enjoy. Take care.